Hello everybody, it is me, Pacific. This morning I wanted to do a video asking a question. Is the American system broken? Does our government work? Let me share with you what happened yesterday. In the afternoon, as I was walking out of the break room to begin my afternoon routes, a normally pleasant driver who always greets me and he's always upbeat. I said, "How you doing today, man?" He said to me, "You know, Pacific, this Obamacare thing is really, really peeving me." In other words, we chatted a little bit, and a couple of things I said, that was passed behind closed doors by Democrat majority. And he says, "Pacific, everything they do is passed behind closed doors." He says, "It's never put to the American people." He said, "The lawmakers all do this. I don't care if it's Bush. I don't care if it's Obama." But he said, "It just angers me." I said, "I've done my studying, and I said, there's nothing constitutional at all about Obamacare. The government has no right to force the American public to buy something and to spend a certain amount of money to buy it. And just the fact that our country, and I don't care if you all think we need health care or not, that's irrelevant. Just the fact that people cannot look at what our government is doing right now and say, hey, there's a problem, there's something wrong. Our founding fathers set up a great constitution and set up a system of checks and balances. But I believe, and I can't give you dates and I can't give you exact references, but when the American government started courting big corporations, i.e., Philip Morris, big tobacco, oil companies, they always give both parties a certain amount of money, and Philip Morris gives a certain amount of money. When we have special interest groups lobbying at all levels, when we have attorneys all over the place waiting to pounce with a lawsuit, our government cannot and will not work. Regardless of what I think of Obama, Clinton, Bush, Ford, Nixon, Reagan, we could go on and on and on. The system is definitely broken. I believe wholeheartedly that as we move further down the road, we are going to see us hit a huge iceberg. We elect our officials, and the truth is, Democrat or Republican are the two parties we're stuck with. They're both against each other. I'm going to say very loudly, I am against liberal thinking. It doesn't work. Everything that the government has had their hands on, Amtrak, the Postal Service, Medicare, Social Security, they themselves have screwed it up so bad. Amtrak hasn't turned a profit at all. It never has, never will. Even the city bus in the United States, and I believe in the city bus. I rode the city bus for years. It is heavily subsidized by the government, and only so many people ride the bus. You cannot get people to ride the bus. And most people know that in any big city, most of the people that ride the bus are people that are not going to be able to get a driver's license, or, as many people have told me and as I have witnessed, a lot of people, not all, but a lot of people that ride the bus are the kind of people you don't want to be sitting next to in your day-to-day life. Why? You're riding the bus with felons, pot smokers, drug addicts, crazy mental disorders, everything. You go to Asia, you go to England and Europe, and I haven't been to Europe. People tell me their transportation is great. Most people have the mentality in Europe that transportation is wonderful. Why would we want to own a car? America has been taught, and women demand it of a man now, if you ride the bus to work, you can kiss getting a date goodbye unless you date a fellow bus rider. We have become so dependent on the automobile, and I thought about that. Has the automobile made our life better? I drive for a living. In some ways, yes. In a lot of ways, no. It meant that people could move from one community to the other. People could do crimes, roll through a city, do a crime, and split. Because of how fast and easy it is to travel, we have moved groups of people into otherwise good areas, and that has spoiled those areas. But let's move on to something else. The government is not working because we have special interest groups lobbying and pounding and pounding and pounding and pounding and demanding their entitlement and their rights. Let's talk about the global warming group. If you think that global warming, the people that believe in that, is healthy for this country, you better take a deep, deep look at it. Sierra Club was looked at years ago screaming about gas guzzling vehicles, and then they went up to the corporate offices of Sierra Club, and what was everybody driving? Excursions, Ford Excursions, and big gas guzzling SUVs. Al Gore went on and on about how destructive everything is to the environment. I read an article the other day that a scientist or a meteorologist said that after he has studied some of the models for the weather, in tears, he suddenly realized, I will never fly again because I think the jets are destroying our environment. Okay, that's fine. I hope you can afford to take ships across the ocean to wherever you're going now. I believe we need to preserve our environment, but the thing that motivates the people to preserve our environment is not a God-centered view, but an evolutionistic view that man arrogantly believes that we got to protect this planet to protect our survival. When you don't believe in God, that is the outcome. Everything is up to us. When you believe in God, you believe that there's a sovereign God who's in control of a very important fact, that no matter what we puny mortals do, there's a point where God has his hand on things and says, you know what? This far you may go no further. And he has an end to history, and it's not a nuclear holocaust, and it's not all the scenarios that the world system puts out there. It is going to end the way God says it's going to end because he is going to control the end. He is the author of history. You go look at a Toyota Prius, you look at these hybrid cars, they're expensive, they're a pain in the butt. The jury's still out on how wonderful these things are. I watched a UPS truck roll past me at a traffic light the other day. It says, natural gas vehicle, low emissions. That UPS has to even put that on the side of a truck for delivering packages tells me that this is what has happened in America. You've got some liver-bellied liberals that say, oh, I'm going to support UPS because they have low-emission vehicles. City buses, blasted with advertising, hybrid. I've heard more drivers complain about those buses being very difficult to work with. We have bicyclists that want to go back to saving money. Well, let's talk about cyclists. Most of them have SUVs with bike racks on the back, and when they get behind the wheel of their SUV, they drive those SUVs as bad as they ride their bikes. More and more complaints are being leveled about the arrogance and the downright brutality of today's cyclists, blasting through stop signs, taking on vehicles in your face, reaching in and punching drivers at stop signs, stuff like that. America's system is broken because everybody thinks they can do whatever they want. We do nothing about the real problems in life. Let me tell you what I heard yesterday from my supervisor. This is going to make you all shocked, but this is reality 101. Every day we have a problem in school zones. It says school bus loading and unloading only 8 to 5 or 7 to 5. Parents do not read those. Parents park. They drop their kids off, buses pull up, honk. The drivers ignore them or flip them off or give them dirty looks. Or we'll even call in on our drivers. I went to my supervisor and I said, is there any reason that you guys in transportation can't call the police to come out and start ticketing these people and get them out of there? She goes, I've tried that. She said, the police say, who's the principal of the school? Why isn't he calling us? So transportation contacted principals, and this is what principals said. I am not going to call the police to come out and ticket vehicles and have a bunch of parents whose kids go to our school get mad at me. So, to be very blunt, the reason a lot of problems don't get addressed in society is simply this, because men don't have a pair, or women will not stand up and do what they need to do that are in leadership positions. We see this with traffic all the time, that Obamacare can come down and impugn the American people, and yet we do nothing about who we give driver's licenses to, that we don't screen these people, that we don't check their driving record and say, you know what, you've got too many speeding tickets, you're done. You've got a DUI, you're finished. You've been caught with road rage, you are sidelined for 10 years. We don't do anything about the real problems in this country. We never have, and we never will. I know some people at work, I like them, they're nice people, but I know women who live Denver Housing Authority, and they've got a couple of kids, and thankfully they're getting job and trying, but people get to live on the system. We've already proven that the Section 8 housing and the welfare mentality doesn't work. If you don't believe me, men and women, go do your research on Cabrini Green in Chicago. Cabrini, Cabrini Green housing project. Read about that. Read about what those lovely American citizens living in those buildings did to those buildings and what happened to those buildings and why Cabrini Green doesn't exist anymore. When we give a group of people rewards for sitting on their butt, they have babies, they do drug dealing, kids are shot in the crossfire between rival gangs, we have nothing but problems. Welfare does not work. Social Security, let's touch on that briefly. That was money that we all put into, and somebody somewhere in the government got into it and put their grubby little paws on it. And now we're told that we, I'm 47, are not going to have as much as the other guys ahead of us. And we're catering to a massive population of oldsters, and they get to get theirs. I know a guy who's a millionaire who's drawing his Social Security, and he rudely said one day, he says, you guys should have to pay for us. I said, you're a millionaire, why should I have to pay for you? You shouldn't be allowed one benefit of that Social Security until you run out of your own funds. And he says, no, I'm entitled. And I said, I'm entitled what I put into it, dude. Even his girlfriend defended me on that and said, you know what? You shouldn't get Social Security. You're a multi-millionaire. Do you know what bothers me? The old people got the same mentality the young people did. I got mine, screw you. They're going to die. You know what I hear old people say in this country over and over? Well, I'm going to die soon. I won't have to worry about it. Well, la-di-da. Thanks for leaving a legacy. The problem in America and the reason the system doesn't work is we become narcissistic, inverted, and self-centered. Americans don't do anything about anything except when it starts affecting them. And when it starts affecting them, well, it's too late. When the bulk of the American people start realizing we have to depend on each other and have to work together, things are going to change, not before. But the problem is I can get in my car, I can get on my iPhone, I can go to my job, and I can go live in my Facebook world, and, you know, I really don't care about politics. I don't vote. I don't do this. And then all of a sudden I'm meeting more people at work going, hey, what is this that we're going to have to pay like $350 health insurance? You voted for Obama. You said you were going to get free health insurance. No, you're not. What? Wait a minute, that ain't right. I said, yeah, where were you when all this was going down? You believed the media, didn't you? When Americans watch the modern news that is on our regular liberal-owned TV stations, and they believe that is gospel, the American system is broken. when Americans won't even pick up a book and start reading facts. And I'm not talking about people that are running off with conspiracy theories. Trust me, in my inbox, I get all kinds of stuff by people all across the board, and I get a lot of stuff by people that's just nothing more than a conspiracy theory. And I say, no, this is bunk. The question people ask me, is Obama just a puppet? Does the Bilderbergs exist? Yes, the Bilderbergs exist. For those of you that don't know, they're the rich elite globally that come together and meet in America and meet around the world. Do they control this country? I don't know. Are the Masons in control? Are the Illuminati in control? I don't know. What I am going to say is that the system of government in America is owned and bought and paid for by none other than Satan himself. Am I a radical when I say that? No. The Bible calls the devil the prince of the power of the air. He has control right now, folks. And the government in America is not running things the way God wants him to run things. They are led and controlled by and large by the devil and by the world system. Our government is run by broken people. Therefore, we're going to get broken problems. We're not going to get solutions to everything, because if there's one thing that the Bible makes very clear to us, is that Jesus Christ is in control. And he will rule one day, and regardless of what anybody believes, there will be a theocracy. He will rule, and there will be none of this foolishness. I long for that day. We need to vote. We need to be responsible, but it is disheartening when you watch what is going on. What does government do about the cost of gasoline? Nothing. Nothing at all. Democrat or Republican, and Democrats love to yell at Republicans, call them rich Republicans making big money off oil. What have the Democrats done to put caps on cost of gas? Nothing. What have Democrats and Republicans done about getting us to get off of our dependence of foreign oil, which is causing the bulk of our international problems, by us getting involved and meddling with Middle East BS, which we should just stay out of and let those countries fend for themselves? I do believe in the support of Israel, and I know I'm going to catch fire from my viewers on that. Why? Because Israel is still democracy, and they are in a sea of enemies. The American system is definitely broken. What can we do about it? Nothing. For those that are Christians, we need to put our hope and faith in something immovable, and that's God. Men make an awful lot of noise. Read Psalm 2. Psalms number 2. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The rulers take their counsel together. Read it. And it says, let us break their bands. It's talking about the world coming against God himself, saying, you know what? We're tired of you imposing your morality on us, and we're going to take you on, God. And it says, he who sits in the heavens shall laugh. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry. Even there, it says, do business with Christ. Make your heart right with him, because if you don't, God will vanquish his foes. And I don't care if it's Obama. I don't care what these rock stars and these government leaders and these liberals all think about themselves. God will destroy the wicked one day. And the wicked are blinded, and they don't get it. They look at everything from a human perspective, and they look at everything from a, oh, we got to fix this problem. We got to save our environment. Every time I hear the expression, go green, let me tell you what happens, viewers. I'm not making this up. I grew up going to Yosemite, the Redwoods, the California coast, Yellowstone. I've traveled this country, and I'm going to tell you, I love the beauty of it. And yes, Americans can be pigs. But if we looked over there at some of these other countries, like China, and what they do with their pollution, tell you what, we're a lot cleaner than most people out there. We've cleaned it up a lot. But when I hear the expression, go green, this is what happens. There goes my green. And it is about money. When they start imposing environmental stuff, did you guys hear about the methane tax that Obama imposed on farms, pig farms, cattle farms, that basically, and I'm trying not to be crude, boy, that wind is really blowing out there, that livestock and all that pass gas. To be direct, fart. Well, there's a methane tax on a lot of these farms now. You guys ever wondered why our food is going up and up? Don't think for 1 minute Obama hasn't had anything to do with that. It appears to me that the powers that be do not care if the average working American fails. It appears to me that there are some megalomaniacs in Washington at present that want nothing more than control. They don't care if people like me become a banana republic. They don't care at all. The problem is when you have evil, wicked men that don't submit to God at the helm, they're on a power-hungry trip. They don't want me to have a house. They don't want me to prosper. They don't want me to live an American dream. They want to live the American dream. And if they can gain more power by controlling us and stripping us of our rights and stripping us of a quality of life, then they lick their lips and wipe their face with a napkin and say, well, that was a good meal. And that's what we're up against. Let me say something very pointed. Our leaders do not care for you. If you believe that, then I've got a nice timeshare cruise, I'll say, on the Titanic. I have a very nice stateroom down there, too. It's got a nice view of ocean. The problem is we've got to stop believing in the American system. For those of us that are Christians, we need to start putting our hope and faith in the one system that will not fail. God has given us free will. There's a lot of junk going on. But Obama, Clinton, Ford, JFK, every leader that's come and will come will stand before God and give an account for what they've done. And I promise you this, it isn't going to be pretty. Is our American system broken? Yes. Was it one of the best systems in the world? It was. I believe when Revelation comes down and the judgments and the meteorites that turn a third of the sea into blood and kill everything and destroy a third of the ships, and the drought and stuff happens and a third of the earth is burned up and all this stuff. I was thinking as I was driving my bus empty from my routes yesterday, I have a feeling that America is going to be probably the first one hit with a lot of these. We've had fresh water, beautiful scenery, some of the best real estate in the world. Our country has been blessed with so much material goods, a huge high quality of life for so long. We've had it good. And we have been thankless. We have failed to get on our knees and thank God for that. We have lived in luxury. We have fattened ourselves, no pun intended, in one of the most obese nations in the world. You think that God is going to spare us mercy when he sees what we've done and what we're doing? James talks about something. The book of James says, woe to you rich men, weep and howl for the miseries that will come upon you. Do you know who that's talking about? It's talking about all those that are rich, that are affecting our ability to earn an income, that are taking away jobs, that are forcing us to buy health insurance. We're talking about Americans that hire illegals so they can pay them under the table and pay them next to nothing. Even Republicans encourage illegal aliens because they hire them as well. Is our system broken? You better believe it is. Does corporate America care about you? If you believe that, you're a sorry sap. Corporate America is cutthroat and mean. I see how they drive. I see their policies and decisions. They don't care if you go bankrupt and end up in the gutter, as long as they don't. I watch American advertising. How did we come up with this recipe? Well, it took a long time. We took our special flavors and did all this, and I thought, oh, please, you did this in a factory. You manufactured something. You squirt a little dab here, squirt a little, pull this lever here, seal it up in a box. Wow. I listened to advertising in America. I was thinking the other day about false advertising like U-Haul. I pass a U-Haul dealership and it shows a pickup just $19.95, and I thought, false advertising. They charge you $20 to use the truck, plus gas, plus a deposit, plus this, plus tax. It's not just. I see trucks go down the street. 3 rooms cleaned, rugs done for just $75. I thought, bull crap. There's fees in there and there's taxes. It is not just $75. We have been duped into thinking that the price you see is what you get. I go through this with the mechanics. Yeah, it'll cost you $250, and I think, okay, but to get that done, then you go in there, and then they've added this fee and a disposal fee. Did you know that the mechanics now charge you to, when they pull a part out of your truck, they charge you a disposal fee for that now? I mean, it is really convenient. Everybody's making money except us. You go and get anything done on your car today, there is fees for the disposal of the oil, disposal of the brake parts, environmental fees, all this junk stuffed in there. And I thought, man, I just got pimped. What I have to tell myself every day, and it's hard, if I watch the news, which I don't, if I listen to what's going on, I get very discouraged. If you put your hope in God, you put your hope in eternity, I wouldn't want to be in Barack Obama's shoes when he stands before that day, when God calls him into account. I don't want to be in Oprah Winfrey's shoes. I don't want to be in Britney Spears' shoes. I don't want to be in Michael Jordan's shoes. I don't want to be in Justin Bieber's shoes. I don't want to be in Adolf Hitler's shoes. I don't want to be in William Jefferson Clinton's shoes or George Bush or anybody else's shoes, because you know what? No matter what they think they've done, God's judging everything. And if they're not in Christ, they go to hell. I know that's not a popular teaching today, and people really hate me saying that, but the Bible teaches it. And if the Bible's hogwash and junk, then don't believe it. But it isn't. I'm not going to get into that. There's more proof of the reliability of Scripture than there is in Plato's works, than there is in Homer's Iliad. We're living in bad times, and it's not going to get easier. Somebody the other day, an older man said, I think when the Republicans get in control in 2016, let me give you a prediction. I don't believe Republicans are going to get control in 2016. I've watched what happened in America when they voted in Obama. A sobering reality crept into my soul, and it was, we're not in Kansas anymore. We're not in Leave It to Beaver era, and we are living in a day and age now where people are anti-God. America has more churches in every town and every city, and more people go to church on Sunday than ever before. It's not making a hill of beans difference. We've got a huge church population in the U.S. that are all going straight down the greased pole route to that lovely place called hell, the lake of fire, eternal torment, eternal separation from God, weeping and gnashing of teeth. And people don't want to hear that. They'd rather listen to their media that tells them how to decorate your cute little poodle, who lambastes us and blitzkriegs us with the need to buy the latest SUV. They don't want to be told the truth. So most Americans are living for now, living in the moment. They can't wait for the new iPhone, can't wait for the newest little bling thing you can put on Facebook, and we get what we pay for, and this is what is happening. American society is crumbling. Most of our manufacturing has gone over to China, where they're paying them $2 or $3 a day. America doesn't care about Christians that are persecuted in China. They don't care about the violation of human rights. All they care about is how it affects their bottom line. American consumers want to save money. I want to save money. I buy at Walmart. We're not supporting Made in the USA. I can't afford to support Made in the USA when you have whiny baby union boys and women making $25, $30, $40 an hour to assemble something. I can't afford that. When America's system has inflated itself so high financially, American business can no longer compete in this country. They farm it out to overseas. We could stop that problem. We could impose huge tariffs on every company that goes overseas. We don't. And I don't care if it's Bush or Obama. We have a president right now that is the most inept president I've ever seen in my 47 years. Making trips to China, making trips to Sweden, all on taxpayer dollars when we have a major broken government. Obama, when he was a senator in Illinois, made a statement that we cannot spend our way out of debt. Look it up and read it. It was sent to me in an email last night. I was like, man, this is dead on. And then I see Barack Obama and the date, and I'm like, he said that? He's doing the exact opposite of that, demanding that we raise the debt ceiling. Any financial analyst will tell you that we cannot keep doing this. We cannot keep printing money. But Americans are drunk on themselves. As long as I have my cable TV and I have my comfortable little lifestyle, smoking pot, drinking beer, obsession with my materialism and cars and doggies and women running off in their little feministic, snubbing men, and all this crap that's going on, we're not focusing on what's going on right under our nose. That Washington is screwing us over, both conservatives and liberals, and they're going to wake up one day and realize that all the stuff that they like and enjoy, and Friday night I get to party, and when that rug is ripped out from under them, there's going to be a lot of people mad. And let me tell you what's coming. All these people with the middle class comfortable lifestyles are going to be in complete danger when the bottom comes crashing down in America, because there's going to be looting and rioting, and all these haves are going to have no protection. Shoot, I live in a city. I see hardly any police cars on a given day patrolling traffic. They are taxed, buddy, taxed. No, America's in big trouble. They've commonly referred to the police as the thin blue line. Oh, yeah. And the mentality towards most cops today is anything but favorable. A viewer wrote me yesterday and said that people who don't believe in God, they just do everything the exact opposite of what God wants. They attack marriage. I, heard on one of the rock radio stations when I was sweeping my bus the other day that one of the flaky women DJ announcers says, yeah, people aren't getting married as much. They said that, instead of getting married now, they'll just refer to their significant other as their fiance now, even though they've been dating for 10 years. And when American society is encouraging a throwaway society and a TV dinner mentality, how long can we last on that? You go back to the 20s and 30s and the World War II generation, they believed in saving. They believed in paying off their debts. They believed in doing things that were sound principles. Today, that's disappearing very fast. We live in an age of sexual cheap. We live in an age of teenagers dressing like whores. We live in an age of kids wearing their pants low, that their butt cheeks are hanging out. McDonald's down in Houston finally put a sign that said no sagging, which means if you come in wearing those pants, you're told to get out of the restaurant. But it seems that anybody who wants to make a stand for righteousness in this country is mocked, maligned, laughed at. They go digging deep enough to find skeletons in that person's closet. And clearly the evidence and proof of the existence of Satan unfolds every day by watching the way Americans behave themselves, by the lunacy with which they pass things that hurt and impose hardworking people and mess up their lives. When we look at the ineptitude of Washington and we look at Cheshire Cat grin, Barack Obama get up there and give this teleprompter promoted speech, and he doesn't care. They don't care. They've got their health care. They've got their money. They don't care about you. People say, well, this is depressing, Pacific. Where are you going with this? Well, if you read the book of Ecclesiastes, Solomon really gets down to the skids and says, meaningless, meaningless, all is meaningless. Vanity, vanity, all is vanity. There's nothing profitable under the sun. Solomon is looking at things from the natural man perspective. I'm tired of some of my viewers telling me you should be more positive about American women. I can't. You should be more positive in your videos. How? The only way to be more positive is to point people towards the truth that there's eternal after the physical. And it is not positive to watch what this country's doing, the way people are behaving, and the selfishness and the rudeness and the unkindness and the government just running amok and doing whatever they want. How can that be positive? It isn't. I talk about it to get people to think. I'm not interested in bringing a bunch of malcontents together and starting an angry white man's site. I want to bring people from all walks of life together. I'd like to start, my own global community of people who share like-minded beliefs. I don't want to be called the Tea Party. I don't want to be called some right-wing nut jobs. But it'd be neat if this thing took off and people said, man, and that's another thing. We're going to do a video about a couple of my viewers out there need to be rebuked and scolded for harassing some of my other viewers and teasing them, and I'm going to make it very clear. I'm going to shut that down. This is a warning. On my site, I want dialogue, and I want people to share viewpoints and opposing viewpoints, but if somebody is harassing, teasing, or making fun of another one of my viewers, I am going to block you, and that'll be the end of it. I don't want my site to be known for bullies. There are times I print a comment by a rogue troll just so that some of my fans can just kind of see that, and they have my full permission to rebuttal that and put him in his place. My site caters to a lot of people. Not caters, reaches. I'm going to be very honest, viewers. A lot of my viewers are broken people, myself included. This is not a site about Pacific's ego. This is a site about reaching people. People that try and are nice people and can't get dates. People that try and can't get jobs. We have a bunch of unemployed watching my videos that are trying. I'd like to see some of my viewers actually do more than just sit here on YouTube and make comments. And some people who are working, putting down others and making fun of them. I'd like to see some people reach across those lines and say, you need a job? Where do you live? Let me see if I can help. I'd like to see my site become a site of action, and I'd like to see people help each other and encourage each other. Whether I agree with everybody or not, whether somebody's obese or thin that wanders onto my site, I like people. I may not agree with certain lifestyles or beliefs or certain looks, but I can still like people. I want Pacific Site to be known as a safe place where people of all walks of life globally can come and come away from the videos feeling good, saying, you know what, this guy cares. One person in particular, you know who you are. Don't write on my site and say, oh yeah, Pacific's talking about me. Don't put a target on your back. Stop teasing some of my viewers. Enough. I try not to shut people down, and I've had some people criticize me for blocking them. They come up with another ID, they get on another site where I've left a comment and piggyback on that comment and attack me there. What they don't realize is because they're responding to my comment, I can remove that comment from that other site, and I will. The reason I block people is not because I'm afraid of being proved wrong. If you can prove me wrong, do it. But if you're being a troll, and you're being a jerk, and you have nothing intelligent to say, and you're being an internet bully, you need to go. We have people that are hurting. I had a woman write me yesterday and tell me, just because you can't get a date doesn't mean you have to be so down on women. I find that men that can get a date are much more positive about women. That's a bunch of bunk. It depends on the man you're talking about and what that man's looking for. If he's not interested in true love and he wants a flaky woman that's climbing on him for his money, of course things look good. He gets good sex with a hot looking woman, she gets a bank account. I do get dates when I'm talking about American women, I'm talking about a broken system. And you know what? There's a lot of us broken people. There's a lot of us nice guys out there that can't get a date with a hottie because the hotties are immature and vain and not looking for real love. They're looking for a free ride. But back to my viewers, be nice to each other out there. You can disagree. I encourage round, hearty debate that is kind. But I notice somebody is picking on somebody, and I'm not going to mention names, but it needs to stop. I've gotten to know both of you through your comments. The one has been having a very tough time in life, and the other one's pouncing on him, and it needs to stop. Pacific is going to put his money where his mouth is and say that I don't support bullying, therefore I don't want to see it on my site. I have no problem with some rude feminist getting on and blasting us men and posting her comment and letting the men pounce on her, because she has it coming. I'm not talking about mean-spiritedness and hate and all that, but standing up and saying, no, that's not right. But stop the bullying. Most of my viewers, 99.9% of my viewers, even though they don't always agree with everything I say, they're kind about it. That's why I post their comments. People say, oh, you only post people that agree with you. Well, apparently you didn't read all the comments, did ya? No, I don't. If you're a jerk and you're saying F you to me, no, you're not going to be posted. I don't have to. Well, I have to go out in a windstorm and get blown down the road today and go to work. The American system is broken. That's discouraging. It's depressing. Put your faith in God, people. It doesn't make it easy because we're still going to have problems. But the return of Christ could come, and it really doesn't matter what Obama's doing. It really doesn't matter his impositions. He ain't going to get health care dollars from us if we're out of here. We need to live our day one day at a time and trust in God, and God can override a bunch of dictatorial type actions of Washington, and he will provide for our needs. That we have to stand on. Give us this day our daily bread. That's the positive. God will supply our needs. God is not limited to Obama's foolishness or any other leader's foolishness and the ineptness of Washington. Psalms 37 says, I was young, now I am old. I have never seen the righteous forsaken or his descendants begging for bread. For those of you that have insight on the jobs for non-college educated people, and you can reach across the aisles and help people get work, let me know. Let them know. Let's see if we can help people get on track. Let's see if we can do something positive and see if my viewers can actually rise up and help people and encourage each other. And let's see if we can do something different with this YouTube channel than all the scat and garbage and BS that's out there. Everybody loves to watch YouTube and offer their 2 cents and be armchair experts, but let's see if we can actually get people to move, not with me being the center of it all, but other viewers saying, you live in Missouri, well, I live there too. You know, I can offer you cheap rent, no motives, no strings attached. I can help you get on your feet. I'd like to see that kind of action. That kind of stuff would make the news, and they can attack me all they want, but they'd have a hard time dismissing the fact, saying, you know, this guy gets stuff done. I don't know if we could do it, but I'd sure like to see if we can. For those of us that are Christians, we need to help our brothers and sisters in the faith. That's all there is to it. And if we can pull that off, that's good. This is Pacific signing off. Bye-bye.